very happy to be here. Thanks you guys for coming. And today we're going to talk about the business of photography. And what's interesting is, and Deborah was just talking about the money of photography. I really do it for the passion. I loved shooting. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is what I shoot, why I shoot, how I shoot it to make money. But some of the things we'll talk about are things I shoot where I don't make money. So there's a balance today to kind of talk about feeding, paying the bills, but also feeding that passion. This is what I see in the photo business. Some really, really great photographers that are out there. People that, and trust me, I'm looking at the websites and the magazines and I'm seeing what people are shooting, amateurs and pros, and there's some amazing work out there. But a lot of those people, what I see is they lack that business and marketing skill. A lot like doctors. My dad was a doctor, he was a really good doctor, and he was a horrible business person. Where they're really good at the one skill, but I'll be honest with you, you could be the best photographer in the world, and if you don't know how to run a business, you'll fail. Well, there are certain trends, social media, you gotta be involved in if you wanna build a business. You have to have a website. I talked to a couple of photographers who said, I'm a professional photographer, and I said, oh, send me your website, I'd love to see it. I don't have one. Like, what? Like, what year are we in? Like, this is crazy. So there's certain things you can't ignore, you've got to be part of them. There's more pictures being taken every day than the first 50 years of photography. Because everybody's running around with their phones. I was walking down the High Line yesterday, and everybody's got their camera phones out. So people are creating their own content. I'm not saying that you're going to necessarily buy an iPhone shot for an ad campaign, but Apple's advertising right now, photos and videos created on the iPhone. And so you can take a decent shot with these things. It's getting harder to make money by creating your own content. Learn to shoot well first. Okay, so I have two examples that I showed you. This shot is one of the first bar mitzvahs I ever shot many, many, many years ago. The background's a little too in focus. The lighting's not ideal. This is a more recent shot. It's a much better photo than the ones I took years and years ago. I'll show you another example in a minute. But I learn and I practice and I like I said, I keep pushing myself to do a better job. When you get good photos, build a strong portfolio. Okay, it's really important. Don't put weak shots on the web. And I see this all the time. My number one critique when people email me and say, can you take a look at my website? I'll look through it and go, wow, ugh. Don't put ugh, right? You are not judged by your best shot, you're judged by your worst shot. You do not want a client looking at your photos going, wow, ugh, right? If you only have 5 good portraits, you put 5 pictures on your portrait page. That's it. Don't put 25. Put 5. And so only put your best work out there. And you know what? If you need to shoot for free or as a second shooter to build that portfolio, then that's what you do. Being different, this is also very, very important. I talked about that before, but you want to set yourself apart from other photographers. And also, I don't want to deliver the same type of images to every one of my clients. So I shoot a lot of bar mitzvahs because they pay very well. And who are you surrounded by when you shoot a bar mitzvah? A bunch of other Jewish people, same age kids. It's like a built-in revolving business model, right? The thing is, when I do that though, I'm doing the same temples a lot. Well, I don't have the same shot of the same kids at the same location every time. So I don't. I change it up depending on what the weather's like, what the foliage is like, I'll move to different places. Here's the other thing, have a good attitude. Really, really important because when you're shooting, people see you. When I go to a meeting to talk to a client, like I just did 2 of them last week, to talk to prospective clients, and I went to their homes, and I'm me. If they like that, great, and if they don't, oh well, then they'll pick somebody else. But I am upbeat, I'm fun, I have a good time, I joke around with them. I showed up in shorts, because it was a warm day in California. You know what? That's who I am. I'm not gonna show up in a tux to almost any event. I just don't. That's not who I am. I rarely ever wear a tie. That's not who I am. So I'll go and I'm just being fun, but when I shoot, I have fun. When I shoot an event, I party with them. And if grandmother's there, I'll dance with grandma if I need to. And I was in a mitzvah not too long ago where there was one of the family members had a baby, and she was trying to eat dinner, and she just couldn't because the baby it wasn't a baby, it was a toddler. So I said, here, let me take, they're eating. What are you gonna do? I'm not gonna take pictures of people eating because no one appreciates that. So I went and I took the toddler, and she and I went and I danced with her for a minute, and then I said, come help me take pictures. So I had my 1DX, I gave her my 5D Mark III. She's like 3. And I said, work with me here, and here's how you're gonna do this. And we walked around for about 5 or 10 minutes, and she didn't take a lot of pictures, but she had fun, right? I go, you can be my assistant. We went back 10 minutes later, and I dropped her off, and you can bet that mom was very, very happy that she got to eat dinner. But everybody else at the mitzvah saw that I was willing to do that. Now, it wasn't a show. We had a good time, and also killed some time where I didn't need to shoot. But it sends a message to everybody there that this guy's gonna do everything and above. So that's what I do. Okay, we talked about attitude. I would say that I get hired probably 60% on attitude and 40% on my photography. Maybe 50-50. People want someone who can take a good quality photo, but you're injecting yourselves into their family for an entire day if you're shooting events, or spending 3 hours with them if you're doing senior portraits. Mom or dad want to know that they can trust you to get good photos of them, their kids, whatever it might be, in the case of shooting events. So you have to have the right attitude. Doesn't matter what you're shooting. Heck, even when you're on safari, right, Carol? You want to have the right attitude. Attitude is very important. When I shoot an event, I do the same thing. I work really fast. I always download when I get home, if I'm shooting a bar mitzvah, wedding, whatever it might be, or senior portraits, I get home, I download first. So in the case of this photo session I did at the beach this weekend, we flew out to New York on Sunday. The thing was Saturday night. Sunset wasn't until 8:30. Uh-oh. So we shot from 7 till about 8:30. Actually, we didn't get done till about 9:30. Then we had to drive 45 minutes back to my house. I hadn't even packed yet. So and my wife knew, like, forget it. Don't even try to get him to pack yet, because he's not going to do it. Straight to the computer room, download, build the gallery, post the gallery, edit my favorite 8 or 9 images, post that to the gallery, send to the client, then I'll go pack. So it was a late night. But I always want to over-deliver to my client. Show off your work. As I talked about with the website, your website is your business, essentially. In the old days, when people would drive by on the side of the freeway and see a really cool building with the name of the company, they're like, wow, that company must be successful. Well, now, that is a website. It represents you and who you are. And I get flack on YouTube channel because I wear my Jeff Cable photography shirt. This is branding. It's not an ego thing. It's just branding. It's me. I'm really proud of my business and my art. So why not, So branding is important. Websites is the place to brand. The brand is important. You want people to remember you. My wedding photographer, who wasn't very good, by the way, I don't remember their name. Never had any communication with that person after we got married. I don't remember how that worked. I don't remember the process, but I never heard from them. So I stay in touch with all my clients. I have an email list, called clients, and I will email them, happy holidays, or whatever, something to stay in touch with them, or maybe I'll call them a year after the wedding and just check in or whatever. But I stay in touch with all my clients. My clients are my friends, and I treat them as such, and they treat me like that. And a lot of times when I shoot their events, they have a seat at the table for me to eat, and I go, no, I'll be shooting, and they'll just relax and eat with us. Or they'll say, like, grab a beer, and I go, no, I don't want to drink, I'm shooting, and they'll, you're one of the family, have a beer. So at the end of the night, I sit down and have a beer with them. But it's like, that's the way that I'm treated, which is really important, because I fit into that family. I insert myself into that family, and that's really, really important. So I use 17 Hats. As I mentioned, they're sponsoring this, and I just started using them about 4 months ago, and it's really changed everything in my business. It's really cool. So you want to build your leads and referrals. Basically what 17 Hats is a website that lets me go and they control my world. It's like having an office assistant online. So it's really cool. You can build the form. The form goes on my webpage, and I'll show it to you in a minute. And when people fill out the form, actually I think it's next, I'll show it to you. And it'll basically send me a text, and it'll say, you have a new lead, follow up on it. So the other thing is you want to be responsive to your leads. This is a true story. I talked to someone recently. They say, we're looking for someone to shoot our event. This is in the San Francisco Bay Area. I said, great. I'm talking to her. She said, I contacted 6 photographers. I haven't heard back from any of them. I go, how long has it been? Oh, a couple weeks. What? Like, are these people nuts? Let's say you're booked. Get back to them quickly. Say, I'm booked, sorry. But best of luck on your event, or whatever. Get back to them quickly. How can people not even respond to a lead? That's crazy. So you want to be responsive. I always use what's called the UPS theory. I heard this story about 25 years ago in business where UPS drivers are told to see every customer with $1 million sign on their forehead. And I said, well, explain that to me. And the UPS people said, because if you treat a customer well, they're going to tell other people about you, and that could be worth $1 million over time. And I take that to heart because if you think about it, if you treat a customer well, and they tell friends, it just grows. Well, again, it doesn't matter what you're shooting. If you're shooting for people, whether it's portraits or events, it snowballs. Who's your competition? Because that's important to know. So your competition is other professional photographers, right? Or people who think they're photographers. And there's plenty of them out there, right? So, but that's who you're up against. And the other thing is you're up against Uncle Harry. Now, Uncle Harry is the guy where someone will call me up and say, we're interested in having you shoot our whatever. And I say, I give my pricing, and they go, yeah. No, I always have Uncle Harry do it. Because he's got a DSLR, he's fine. Well, actually, they don't even know DSLR. He has a good camera, we're good. Which is the biggest insult you can have as a photographer? You must have a great camera. The camera is a tool, right? People don't go to the restaurants and say, that meal was outstanding. They must have great pots and pans. It doesn't happen. People didn't say to great artists, oh my God, Van Gogh is incredible. He must have had amazing paints and brushes. No, right? And the camera is a tool. When I shoot an event, I change settings probably 600 to 700 times in a day. I don't think about it, but I'm doing it. If I'm shooting a portrait of Carol, I'll go at 2.8, bam, and shoot. But if I'm shooting these 4 and I have someone sitting behind Carol, I can't shoot at 2.8 because she'll be in focus and he won't. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe this needs to be at f8 or 5.6 or whatever, depending how far I am from them. And I change settings. And so I'm always changing without thinking about it. So when people say to me, oh, you got really lucky or you have a great camera, I go, yes, I do. But as Ansel Adams said, the most important feature of the camera is what's 12 inches behind it, right? We're always thinking. And so my clients love the fact that when I show them creative shots and I explain to them, and the blog does this too, how did I get that shot? Why did I get that shot? So when I'm in Rio for the Olympics coming up in 60 days or whatever it is, 55 days, when I blog every day, I will be telling you guys, here's what I shot today. I shot USA water polo or diving or whatever, weightlifting, whatever it might be. And here's the angles I shot because I thought it'd be interesting. Here's the settings I used in my camera because I thought that's what I wanted to try. I wanted to try to do slow shutter so I could show the motion of the person lifting the weights. I don't know. And it's fun and it's educational, but it also shows that I'm thinking. It's not just the camera. Here's one that you'll love. Losing business is part of doing business. I had an email a couple weeks ago. I was doing a show down in LA, and literally the morning of that show, I got an email saying, we really love your work. You're a master at what you do. You're just too damned expensive, and we can't afford you. And my answer was, I get that. Best of luck on your event. Because I don't want to win every piece of business. Because what does that mean? You're not charging enough. If everybody says yes, then you're not charging enough. And I'll be honest with you, I grapple with this all the time. I don't even know if I'm charging enough. Maybe I'm not charging enough, I don't know. And it's scary to move up to that next level because you don't want to give away business. So it's difficult not only in what you're going to charge to shoot, but what are you going to charge for an album or a book or prints, right? You have to figure all that out. And so part of that is kind of learning as you go. You're going to start lower, and I think my original price for a 4x6 print was like $3. Now you have to remember, when you print a 4x6, so you do it yourself, forget the ink and paper costs, which isn't much, but you have to retouch that image. And then you have to go to print, change all the settings, print it out, put it in an envelope, mail it. It's not worth it, right? So eventually it went to like $14 or whatever it is for a 4x6. And same thing with digitals. If you're going to sell a digital image, how much do you sell it for? Because it's your time, but you're also giving them the image that they can now go print on their own. So you have to figure that out. So like I said, I fight with that all the time as well. So it's not something where it's just like, okay, there's our pricing, we're done. And most photographers that you talk to, even the best, will say that they're not sure they're where they should be. The other problem I should have mentioned is the economy, right? As that fluctuates, you may have to fluctuate with it. And so you have to have thick skin, and you have to deal with the client who comes to you and says, wow, these are your shots. Wow, you got really lucky, had that happen. In which case you politely say to him, yeah, there's a little bit of luck involved, but a lot of practice and skill, you know? And so you have to like kind of grit your teeth, like, yeah. He actually ended up being one of my better clients, but at first I thought, oh, I'm not gonna like this guy. He was great. So you have to be prepared, but again, it's all about your art and your passion getting there. So here's the thing, you're in this room or you're watching this online, you're like, okay, maybe you'll make money and maybe you won't. But maybe you'll get some great photography, and by default, then you'll make money. And that's really the best way, because if you do what you love, it's not even work.
Whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, B&H has the answers to your questions. Experience a world of technology at our New York City Superstore. Connect with us online or give us a call. Our staff of experts is happy to help.